pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening and welcome to Port Mitchell City Council. I'm Mayor Jude Heeman. Today is August the 11th. It's hard to believe the corn roast.
Come and gone.
Summer is here and gone. So, to my right, way over there is Amy Gunther, our city clerk. To my left is our city attorney, Olivia Emlon. Amy, would you do roll?
Sure. Mr. Arlinghouse?
Here.
Ms. Berger? Mr. Dethridge?
Here.
Mr. Dietrich?
Here.
Ms. Knockhazel?
Here.
Mr. Polkiers?
Here.
Dr. Rooney?
Here.
Council received the agenda. I don't have any changes unless you do.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I second.
Second, Dr. Roding. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. You have one set of minutes from the July 14th set of minutes. A meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Dethridge? Second, Mr. Dietrich. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. There's a few people out in the audience tonight. Does anybody wish to address council tonight? Okay. We're moving right along. We have quite a list of the city attorney's report, although I think, Olivia, you're going to tag team a little bit. I think Mr. Parsons is going to come up at the end for some of those. So, all right.
Okay, first up on the city attorney's report, we have a second reading of ordinance 2025-07, which is amending chapter 72 of the Fort Mitchell Code of Ordinances relating to parking regulations.
Council, this was a second reading, so I would need that. There was just some clarification and some discussion about parking as is it in front of a space. It clearly identifies that it has to be within 2 feet, of said driveway, or can't be within 2 feet of said driveway. So, if everybody's okay with that, we are asking for approval on that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Yeah, I second
Mr.
it.
Etheridge, second. Dr. Roding, is there any questions regarding that? Amy, would you do roll?
Mr. Dethridge?
Yes.
Dr. Rooney?
Yes.
Ms. Knockhazel?
Yes.
Mr. Polkiers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Arlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
All right, the next up on the city attorney's report, we have a second reading of ordinance 2025-08, amending the budget for fiscal year ending July 30, 2026.
Amy, before we do, any update? Everything's okay?
What, for
For
the
the second
capital?
reading, yeah.
Yeah, this is just to purchase
For the
the land and do land work up on Grandview. 251 Grandview Drive.
Motion, Mr. Dietrich.
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Dethridge. Amy, would you do a roll?
Mr. Dietrich?
Yes.
Mr. Dethridge?
Yes.
Dr. Rooney?
Yes.
Ms. Knockhazel?
Yes.
Mr. Polkiers?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Arlinghouse?
Yes.
All right, next up on the city attorney's report, we have an ordinance 2025-09, adopting the park tax rate for fiscal year July 2025 through June 2026, and this is a first reading.
So, council, we typically have this, and I say this every year, but it's nice to have this in the minutes, but we don't change the park tax. We don't have the opportunity to change or the authority to change the park tax. Is that the correct language? So this has been set since 1982. Yes?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's
the year.
82.
I forget.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
So, I know, sorry. Should have had that. But I believe that's correct. So that's just a first reading.
Next, we have another first reading, ordinance 2025-10, setting the waste, garbage, trash, and recycling collection charge for fiscal year 2025 to June 2026.
council, first reading that you remember we did discuss that we found and we renewed or took advantage of our last couple of years of that contract.
Yeah, it's the option to renew, right? I just saw, I think it was Fort Wright, they went out to bid, it went up significantly,
Right.
so.
That's a first reading. Any discussion? Okay.
Next up, another first reading of ordinance 2025-11, adopting the compensating real property tax rate for fiscal year July 2025 through June 2026.
Amy and I had a lot of discussion on that, and it came truly in flat at this point. So she was missing one rate, but
A small assessment.
probably doesn't affect anything at this point. So not that.
We'll get that this week.
Just keeping the rate the same.
Keeping the same, yeah.
And it is compensating rate also. And it's .108.
The same rate is the same as the compensating rate.
Yes.
Which,
So it's .108 per
I'm not a math
100.
major, so I have a hard time understanding that, but I get it.
What was your question?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
It's .108 of $100 of the assessed value of the property.
Okay.
Okay. There's no discussion. Then next up, we have another first reading of ordinance 2025-12, closing and vacating part of Royal Drive and part of Grace Avenue with signed consent.
Members of council and mayor, I'm Jim Parsons with the law firm of Keating, Eaton, and Kleekamp, and I have been your special counsel on the Fort Mitchell Gateway project for the past several years, and we were bond counsel on that particular transaction. Let me explain what we're doing here on this particular ordinance. At the time the project started construction, the mayor actually issued by executive order temporarily closing the road because, and it's been closed since the construction started on that. At the present time, we're in a position now to move forward to officially close the end section of Royal Drive. Now, eventually, what will happen is that once the new construction is finished, there will be a brand new Royal Drive through the site, and that will be dedicated to the public. That will become a city street. So we're trying to get everything in order now to move this particular process forward. So this is the first reading to close the two parts of Royal Drive and a part of Grace Court. All of them were impacted by the project. All of them were intended to be closed during when we approved the development agreement to move forward on this. This particular ordinance would close the section of Royal Drive at the end of the development, and then also at the front end with Buttermilk Pike. This is an ordinance with in Kentucky. There's when you close a street, you basically adopt in this particular situation, the only entities that need to consent would be the city itself, because the city is one of the owners. In this case, there's also a tenant, a long-term tenant, Buttermilk Land Development Company, and then St. Elizabeth Hospital Corporation. They're the individuals, and all three of them have assigned consents on this particular section of the road. And I'll explain the next one when we get to that, and the difference on that particular situation. But this one, the only action that's needed on this one is for the city to adopt the ordinance. And again, once the ordinance is adopted, we'll take that ordinance to the county clerk's office and record it, and then those sections are automatically closed. What happens is that when you close the street, the property then becomes the owner. The property line goes to the center, and so anyone who abuts property on whatever side picks up a portion of the property. In this case, most of the property is going to be picked up by the city because in this particular situation, the city owns most of the property on both sides of the street, and then on the other side near the what I would consider the end of the development site, that section of Royal Drive, St. E owns the property on both sides of the street, and they'll be picking up that title. I'll be glad.
So this is a first reading, we have to do a solution that's going to be for those other parcel is down below, but there'll be two ordinances in order to close this first reads, and then we'll take action at the next meeting.
I was just, they asked me to be here to explain why the reason why we're doing this particular situation.
Who put together all the verbiage regarding the survey? Was that Bear Becker, or is that?
Bear Becker was a surveyor, but Marty Butler was
Okay.
insisted on putting all this together.
Okay. Okay.
Any questions? We'll read the next one, is that okay?
Yep.
Mr. Parsons will just stay there.
Okay, the next one is ordinance 2025-13, closing and vacating part of Royal Drive without signed consent. This is also a first reading as well.
In the olden days, when I first started practicing law, if a city wanted to close a street, you had to adopt an ordinance, and then you actually legally had to file suit. It's basically a friendly lawsuit, but you basically adopt the ordinance and then close, then you file suit against anyone who might have an interest in that section of the street to be closed. And they can file answer, object, or whatever. If they don't object, then the circuit court will issue an order, or a judgment closing the street. Then you record that judgment in the records of the county clerk. In this particular situation, we're kind of an unusual situation. This is the very middle section. Between those two other sections, we were closing Royal Drive and part of Grace Court. This is the middle section in that situation. What's happened here is that on the one side of the street, I guess it would be the south side, the north side, the city and Buttermilk Land Company is the only interested party on that. I think Sadie may be also at least one part of that. On the other side of the street, our title, the work that Bear Becker had put together, had indicated the state highway department has a right-of-way interest. When we reached out to the state highway department about giving the consent, they basically said they couldn't give consent. One, they don't consider right-of-way, their right-of-way interest the same thing as fee interest. Therefore, they did not think that they were an owner pursuant to the statute. And so as a result of that, all we're doing here is filing this ordinance. We tend to file suit. One of the parties will be the Kentucky, the state highway department. They will probably not even file an answer. We've already met with them about it. There's just no one to give consent on this one. And so we're doing this particular process and using the suit because it also will help us straighten out the title of that particular section of the road. And then hopefully the circuit court can kind of craft an order that will solve some of the title issues on that particular section. And again, this is what we call a friendly lawsuit. There shouldn't be any, it should be a very quick process. Once it's filed, as soon as anybody that can consent, we will have them sign a consent in an entry agreeing to the closure. And then to the extent that, if the state doesn't file an answer, which we don't anticipate they will, then we'll have the court issue a judgment closing the street. We're only doing this because we cannot get, there is a question about who is the legal title holder for the other side of the street, and therefore we don't have someone who can grant the consent to that.
Okay.
And Mr. Parsons, just for clarity, that's the entrance ramp to the interstate on the Buttermilk.
No, it's not. That would be that side of the street, but it's the actual section you're closing is, if you look at, there's a plat that kind of shows it. If you look at page 6 of that ordinance, there's a plat that kind of shows a shaded area. That's the section we're talking about.
Okay.
And that's kind of in between both of the other sections we're closing. But it probably is because of the right-of-way the state has for Buttermilk and or the ramp there. And so that's probably, that is that section.
And that section's really close to the city line too.
That's right.
Right?
So that's the whole reason why we're going through that particular process on the second ordinance.
And I would think the courts are going to rely predominantly on documents that you produce,
That's
so
right.
it should
That's
be,
right.
okay,
Yeah, we don't
relatively
participate in
straightforward,
the,
hopefully.
An issue, so.
Yeah, okay.
It's a friendly lawsuit.
Friendly.
So,
Okay.
if I could ask a real quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, I might just be missing something, but, so, it's kind of unclear right now as to who the title holder is of the land currently. After the lawsuit, the title holder will become clear, and it would then be,
The judge, when the circuit judge, now clearly on the one side, the title holder is probably gonna be the city, maybe Sandy has a small parcel of that. On the other side, it may very well be the state highway department is the owner of that small section close. We don't know how that's gonna be crafted at this point.
okay.
So there could be another small sliver of the amount of closing that is gonna be given to the state highway department. We don't know how that's gonna be crafted. We're gonna talk to the court about the fact that, to try to craft a remedy that works in this particular situation. I wish I had a better answer for you how we're gonna handle that particular section, but I don't at this point.
That particular section, right past it, it's a ravine.
It's not gonna be something
It's-
you can develop on
correct.
anyway. It's just, we're just legally trying to close it so we can clean up the title to the property.
If you kind of follow that fence line down, I mean, that's where we're talking.
That makes sense.
All right.
Thanks.
Last up on the city attorney's report, we have resolution 2025-06, amending bond documents to add additional property to the project and taking other actions in furtherance thereof.
Under this particular situation, the city actually owns some property at the entrance to Royal Drive, and between the existing Royal Drive and Buttermilk Pike, that you obtained by a deed from the state highway department years ago. And there's actually 2 deeds where you received property. All the time during the terms of the development agreement, we were talking about that. We'd always intended for that property to be included within the IRB documents and the actual project description. What happened is, though, at the time we were about ready to close on the bonds, there was a question about whether or not the state highway department had some interest in that property. For instance, if it was used for something other than a public purpose or whatever, would that have to be revert back to the state, or would the state highway department have to sign off on that particular situation? So at the time we closed, we elected not to incorporate that property into the bond documents and the bond closing, even though we always intended to. We felt it would be easier to work with the state if we didn't already include it as part of the project in that circumstance. After that was done, and the developer actually submitted all the information to the Division of Real Properties at the state highway, they have made a decision that they have no interest in the property at all. In fact, they have no reversionary interest. We actually never really legally felt they had a right anyway, but the developer, in abundance of caution, wanted to go through that process. So everything was turned into the State Division of Real Properties. They reviewed it. They made a decision that isn't part of. The state has no interest in that particular property at all. So what we're going to do is once the right of way is closed, and also we will actually incorporate any excess right of way that's part of the project now, and also this additional property will be transferred and be subject to the IRB lease and subject to a pilot mortgage and be part of the project. So it will be actually ultimately part of the overall project. And that's all we're doing. You're authorizing the amendment to various bond documents, including the IRB lease, it's the property subject to, the pilot mortgage, and some of the other related documents to incorporate this into that particular project.
So, Mr. Parsons, over the last 10, 12 years, going back, this is the piece of land that we didn't know because it could or could not be used for non-public interest. We didn't know if council remembers, we talked about maybe we would have done a land swap, or we would have to do something or pay for that piece of that clover, and then it got down to where we really owned it and we don't have to do that. There's no compensation back to the state,
That's
correct?
correct. In fact,
Is
the
that
deed,
it?
I'm apologizing.
No, because we've talked about this differently for many
If you look at
times.
the deed from the state, it says that the city must use that property for public purpose. That's a big distinction. If it said public use, that means it would have to be a public, true public use. But public purpose under state law, and has been defined by the courts and cases and everything else, economic development is the public purpose. So in reality, the state, even though some members of the state highway department thought they might have an interest, where you would have to get release of it and maybe buy it and then trade it or swap it for other right-of-way, they have made the decision that they have no interest, and so the city is the fee owner of that property. And all we're doing with this order is amending the bond documents, which I will draft to incorporate this property into that, into the bond documents.
And that's why the resolution, that just gives the authority.
That gives the authority for the mayor to execute the amendments to the documents.
Any questions on that? That one I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Ms. Nockeson?
I'll second.
Second. Mr. Dethridge, is there any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carries. Mr. Parsons, thanks again for your hard work.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's your report. All right. Under the mayor's report, just real quick, as you see, Mr. King is not here today. He's doing his civic duties with the military. I did get a chance to talk to him. The first time I spoke with him, it was for 22 seconds on the phone, and he said, "They're calling me and I have to go," and he literally hung up. It was right after he asked if everything was going okay, and I said, "It's running very smooth without you." And then he had to hang up. But we all, the staff and myself, we miss him dearly. He did call back, and he comes back next week. But he's doing a great job, and wish him, what an amazing person for what he's doing for the country and our city. So I just wanted to mention that I did talk to him. So that is his report and my report all in one. Any questions for Edwin? All right, how about members, council?
I'm sure most of you do know, just a quick update on PDS. Sharmila Reddy has resigned as executive director. She is now at the city of Covington. I think Friday was her last day at PDS. We hired Josh Weiss. I think most of you know Josh. So Josh will be assuming the duties of executive director.
I'm happy for her. I'm happy for Josh. That's a good move.
Yeah, Josh and I had that conversation. Just funny how things work out, and it just, things worked out for the best for him, so, yeah.
Any other comments from council? Nick, would you, we tackle some things on Public Works? Let's talk about speed humps.
So, yeah, we have it in the budget for 8 speed humps. I haven't started getting quotes on all that work, but, once we get the quotes done, I would anticipate work being done either kind of end of season work, just before plants close and all that stuff. So I would say either late fall or kind of, better early part of November, somewhere around there is kind of when I would anticipate all those speed humps going in. I think it was Birdsall, Thompson, Pleasant Ridge, Beechwood. Do we have one on
Beechwood.
We have one in Beechwood.
So yeah, we'll get that done here before the calendar year for sure. So, couple other items, the I-75 signs. Had a resident talk about the coming out of Home Depot. As you exit Home Depot and you kind of go towards on Beechwood Road across the railroad tracks, we added 2 directional signs for I-75. One kind of right after you get through the parking lot for Grandview Tavern, and then a second one at the intersection with Grandview to direct them to go to Grandview so that they don't continue. There's also a no truck sign as well that we put up there.
Good.
Just to
Perfect.
do our best to prevent any semi-traffics from going up that way. And then the only other 2 things is our crew's been working hard on Harvard, doing some concrete repairs on there. Probably got another 2 weeks worth of work over there, and then finishing up. And then we awarded the Chelsea reconstruction project to Eaton Asphalt for $379,000. So it was a little bit under budget, so that's always a good thing. And should have that, it's completion date of November 15th, but I haven't heard when they plan on starting that work yet.
Any questions for Nick?
No, thanks, Nick.
Thank you,
Good
Nick.
job. Thank you. Joe, you got anything? Madcap Puppets.
Yes. Briefly, last Tuesday, our Madcap Puppets performance got rained out. Thought we were gonna be able to get it in, but it was moving and the cloud just stopped right over the pavilion.
Sure did.
It was like downpoured for like
That
30,
was
45 minutes.
Odd rain that night.
So, we rescheduled that for next Thursday, August 21st at 6:30 up at the park again.
Good.
That's all I have.
Anything for,
Any questions?
Thank you, Joe.
good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Amy, you don't have anything, do you? No?
I don't-
Chief Slusher?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates outside of my normal report. Benny Garcia has passed the National Registry Paramedic Program, is now a Kentucky Certified Paramedic. He's assigned to Captain Brooks' shift, so he'll be spending the next few weeks going through some FTO programs with us. But we congratulate Benny on that. It's a year-long program. He was one of the top 2 or 3 in his class the entire time. So,
Great.
All right.
yep.
Benny's a
Very
homegrown
impressive.
kid. I mean, he started from, with our program.
Yeah,
eventually, right?
he started as a high school intern, moved to the college intern program, hired him part-time, and then full-time. So,
Very
If
cool.
you talk about a story, that's the story that needs to be told. I'm not kidding
He's the
about
poster.
these kids starting in high school all the way through.
Yep.
We need good stories.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
That's fun stuff.
that's good.
We've also promoted Stephen Stasko to the position of lieutenant. That position was vacated when Evan Seeley left last year to take a position closer to home in Ohio. Lieutenant Stasko began his new role on August 1st, and he's currently assigned to Captain Henry's shift as well. Eric Ratliff, who was a firefighter medic on Captain Henry's shift, resigned. He is pursuing a career change, or not a career change, but position change with the city of Edgewood. He got hired over there as a lieutenant. So with that opening and with the other additional full-time positions approved in the budget, we've put out an advertisement for 2 firefighter medics. I'm happy to report that we received 7 applications.
Great.
That's good.
So we did rounds of interviews last week, and we hope to make a couple job offers here in the coming days. So.
That's awesome.
Tori Neltner, who's one of our current career development interns, will be attending the Kentucky Fire Academy in Greensville, Kentucky, beginning next Monday on the 18th. This is a 13-week program that runs Monday through Friday, so she'll be down there. Has to be down there Monday morning, so gets to come home on Friday, kind of like the police academy. She is the first from our department to ever take advantage of this opportunity. So she is class 7, so it's roughly a 3-year. It's been in the making for 3 years, but so we're happy for her to go down there. We have 5 recruits that begin Basic 1 training tomorrow night. That class will conclude on October 25th. Also, it's a Monday through Thursday class. They changed it, so it used to be 2 nights a week, now they've gone to 4 nights a week. So there'll be Monday through Thursday with some weekend classes that are required. Also, one of our current career development program interns, Will Smith, begins EMT class this evening. That class will graduate on December 13th. And finally, Monday, August 18th, we have our 6 new high school interns beginning. These interns will be here training each day from 1 to 3. And we have 3 Beechwood students, 2 Cubcast students, and 1 student from the United Academy.
Great.
And that's my report. Unless you have questions.
Was the golf outing rescheduled that you were trying
The
to?
golf outing will be rescheduled. We're probably looking at a date next year now.
Oh, next year. Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Chief Slusher?
Nice report.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
Chief.
Thank you.
Chief Nader. How is crime in Fort Mitchell?
Other crime, still hitting Hyundais and Kias and stealing those kind of cars, so please use your boot
Wow.
if you have one of those cars. That was a couple weeks ago. So speed humps are very effective, but there's one artery that doesn't have them, so I'm getting complaints from that street now. So hopefully that can be done soon. I'll make it a priority, just so I was answering an email just a second ago. But they have been effective on the other two main tracks, if you know what I'm talking about. People come through. We have a new hire that's in process, so he will be going to the academy if he passes all the tests. He passed the first phase with flying colors, so we're looking forward to him passing phase 2 and 3 and 4, but it's still early in that process. So this will be a new hire for us, brand new. We'll have to go to the academy. Academy is a 3-month wait list, but we probably have 3 more months of tests. So you're looking at, maybe he'll be on the street next time this year.
Wow, okay.
We haven't sent a recruit in several years.
Not since I've been here.
Okay.
This, for here, it's a new one.
Yeah.
So which is a good timing, because if somebody retires by the time he gets out, we'll have a new hire in there. So we're looking forward to it. It's been very good.
That's a 5-year contract.
Correct. But he can still go to another department,
They just
but that department would have to pay the city for the cost.
Good.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Chief,
thank you.
thanks. I think that's everybody. Any other questions?
No.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Dr. Rhodey?
Second.
Second. Nobody wanted to second that.
Jeez,
Mr.
guys.
Desrich, all in
Thanks.
favor?
Thanks for the support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We're
Everybody
adjourned.
else wants to stay around. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I enjoy it.
Jeez.